Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys had a good night. It was windy last night. I don't know if any of you guys couldn't fall asleep, but I couldn't fall asleep all night. Listen, look what you're looking at here. We had a little competition yesterday. Unfortunately, we only had 45 people finish the assignment yesterday to get their name in the raffle. You can still finish it. You can still get it into me and still get credit. But remember, for the raffle, you must get it in the day it is assigned. So we have I actually picked two winners yesterday of the two most creative irregular polygon designs. Now remember, an irregular polygon cannot have diagonals or circles. It's all block, straight lines, straight sides, all enclosed, no openings. And as you can see, my buddy Nicholas here, he knows I'm a big Met fan. I had to go with that. That was easy. And he shows all his work. Perfect for a math student. And Zuzana, check this out. Peppa Pig. I didn't even know you could make a Peppa Pig out of a coordinate plane. And if you could see it, I only have a black and white printer. She had color-coded the whole thing. It really looked like that Peppa Pig character. So, congratulations to these two. I wrote your name down 10 times each on different pieces of paper, threw it into our raffle box, and you now have a very good advantage going into that last day when I pull out a bunch of names. So hopefully you guys had a good day, and let's check out what we're doing today. Now, suggestion might be to, print out a couple of these. You can go to freeprintablepaper.com and you can print them out. If you don't, I know a couple people have reached out to me yesterday. I know we answered this question, but if you don't have a printer, you can draw one. It's a lot of lines, rulers, pencils, and whatnot. All right, so tomorrow we're going to have a free day. So today will be your last lesson of the week. Next week we're probably going to have a test, and then the last week of school we're going to do something that will I think you will like. It'll be something that requires very little thinking. And at this point, I'm sure you're okay with that. All right, so today we are going to look at some linear equations. We're going to look at some tables, and then we're going to graph our linear equations on a graph, on a coordinate plane. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to, first and foremost, take this linear equation. Now, this is linear. You're going to find out later in 7th and 8th grade because it's written in a form called y equals mx plus b. Now, you don't need to know that in 6th grade, but we're going to be learning in 7th and 8th grade about something called the slope of a line. We're going to be looking at something called the y-intercept of a line. But again, don't worry about any of that for now. So here's what you're going to do today. I'm going to give you a linear equation, y equals something. Your job is to create a blank table. And your job is to figure out what your x and y coordinates are going to be for that linear equation and then graph them on the coordinate plane. Let me show you how it's done. All right, so we have the same linear equation that I've given you here, and we have a bunch of blank x's. So I'm going to put a bunch of x values. Now, I like to make I could do 100, I could do 50, I could do negative 100, but I like to make the easiest numbers I can think of. I go 0, 1, 2, 3. So let's plug in 0 for x into this linear equation. So y equals 2 times x is 0 in this case, plus 3. What's 2 times 0? That's 0 plus 3 is 3. So our first point is at 0, 3. Let's go to a 1 as an x value. So let's plug it in. So 2 times x is going to be 1 plus 3. Using PEMDAS order of operations, we multiply first. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5. So this point will be 1, 5. Let's do 2 more, and then we're going to plot these points. Let's input a 2. 2 times 2 plus 3. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So your point is 2, 7. And the last one, input that 3 into the x. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9. Your only job now is, I think the fun part, is to actually plot these points on the coordinate plane. So let's do 0, 3. 0, 3. 1, 5. 2, 7. And 3, 9. Your last part, and I'm hoping my camera doesn't fall because I'm going to let go of it here. Your last part is to grab something straight, like a straight edge. I'm going to take one of my graph papers here and connect these dots. Now you're going to want to go through the entire 4 quadrants, following those points like so. And you're going to put arrows on both sides. Since it's linear, linear line goes on forever. And you're going to merely label y equals 2x plus 3. So if I give you a linear equation like so, it's an equation because that is an equal sign, you can, using a blank table, actually figure out what that line looks like. And I actually like this stuff. This is algebra. This is what you're going to do in 7th, 8th, 9th grade. So this is kind of an introduction, but to me, it's all visual. If you're an artist, this is right down your path. So let's try another one. Let's try y equals 3x plus 1. So I didn't actually make the table for you. You're going to be making the table, so you can just make it pretty basic. That's what a basic table looks like. And come up with a couple x values. Again, they can be anything you want. I tend to always do 0, 1, 2, 3. In 7th and 8th grade, I will use negative integers here, but again, we haven't learned negative integers yet, so I'm going to stay away from those. Now, let's plug it in. Now, one of the main questions I get every year is, how do you know what numbers go here? Again, they can be any numbers you want. I would just keep them, numbers that are on this coordinate plane so you can actually graph them. But they could be any number. Again, our coordinate plane on the x's only go up to 10 and -9. So I wouldn't want to pick a number outside of that range. But let's go ahead and plug in these x values and see what we get. So 3 times 0 plus 1. 3 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. Let's plug in the 1. 3 times 1 plus 1. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. Let's plug in the 2. At this point, you should be becoming pretty good at this. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And let's plug in the 3. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10. You're probably wondering, okay, Berman, another question. Why am I going and doing 4 numbers? Why can't I just do 2 and connect the dots? Well, the reason for that is if you do one of these incorrectly, you will have a line that's incorrect. But if you do 4 of them and you graph them and you notice one of them doesn't seem right, go back to that one particular area and I bet you'll find your mistake. Let's plot this. 0, 1. You'll notice I always label them. 1, 4. And feel free to pause this video at any time so that you can either catch up or you can plot these points. I know I'm going pretty fast. It's because I've been doing this for many, many years. And then once you have your dots and they look like they're in a straight line, grab a straight edge. It's not perfect, but we're okay with that. And I always label my linear equation on that line like so. Okay. Now, one of the questions I get every year is, if I give you a random coordinate, can you tell me if it's on this line? Can you tell me? So let's look. 10, 16. Is 10, 16 on this line? That's an issue because our coordinate plane doesn't actually go up to that. It could be like way up here. It kind of looks like it might be on that line, but I can't be, certain based on, it's kind of close. So the question, if you were sitting in my classroom as I do this whole detective work on how to figure it out, but basically, you do the same thing that we did up here. See that x, the 10? You plug it in this formula and you get a y. And if that y is 16, guess what? It's on the line. So what I like to do is I take that 10 and I just put it right here. Let's go ahead and plug it in. 3 times 10 plus 1. 3 times 10 is 30, plus 1 is 31. 10, 31 would be on this line. Guess what? 10, 16 would not. So this here, if you're going into accelerated next year, you'll be getting pretty close to the first marking period. And if you're not in accelerated and you're in just regular 7th grade math, which is where 90% of my students go to, you'll be getting to this in probably like end of October. Pause the video if you want to catch up on this. We're going to do one more. This one I'm going to have you guys work on your own. Pause the video. When you are paused, I want you to create a table. I want you to come up with some X points. Again, make them the easiest points you can think of. And I want you to then graph it. So go ahead and pause this video and give it a shot. Go for it. Sorry about that one. By the way, try not to do your lines freehand, because then they end up not being lines. They end up being big squiggles, and that's not a linear, that's not a line. And all right, so that's what it would look like if you did it correctly. And then let's find out if 10, 16 is on this line. If I were to, I bet you it is on the line, but again, I can't really tell. So let's go ahead and plug it in. 2 times 10 is 20. 10, 20. Nope, 10, 16 is not 10, 20. So we are both 0. We have no on that one as well. All right, so there you go. There's your 13-minute lesson on a Thursday. Remember, tomorrow, Friday, is going to be a catch-up day for those people who have missed some of the assignments this week. I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of you guys just to make sure you guys are completing all of these assignments, since I'm really going to be kind of your best bud the last week and a half. You're going to really like what I have in store for you. So your work today, I have, let's see, I've got 2 problems here for you to work on. Now, my suggestion would be to have a calculator handy for these, because when you are doing your table and you're plugging in, you're going to have a fraction here. So my suggestion would be to use a calculator and see if that can help you get your answer, and then see how you do on plotting these points. What I like to do is I always give these as classwork, and I like to see you guys completely crumble. I know that sounds really mean, but I want to see, can you do it with fractions without me helping you? So give it a shot, and tomorrow I'll go over the fractions as I give you guys that makeup day. You guys have a great Thursday. I miss you guys. I'll talk to you soon.